I think 1999 gives us the opportunity to really study and debate the issues of housing, of urban regeneration.
I would like 99 to achieve this sense of total visual environment, total visual stimulation.
It's not good enough to say, can we do it as well as another city? We can do it better, and we'll demonstrate to the rest of the world that we can do it better.
The city was very excited at the win, and the celebrations went on for a long time. But when we'd got through that, we really have to take a step back and say, well, okay, how are we going to deliver? How are we going to make sure this is really the success that everybody wants it to be?
Some cities are attractive because they're kind of pickled in aspic and they're kind of frozen static museums. Now, you know, maybe you pick a city for those qualities, but you don't pick Glasgow for that. You pick Glasgow for something else. So it's a matter of recognizing those qualities and building on them. It's a lively place.
Open this up again.
Yeah, and the other one.
And the other one.
I think that could be a hit and miss situation. I think it's going to... The way I'm planning on doing it is taking these positions here, putting them back over here, where it's...
The conference hall at the moment is, you know, is a grand idea, but it will only be fully fulfilled if, you know, that extends down to the door handle, that you actually touch the quality of the lighting, the quality of the detailing.
The lighthouse is critical to Glasgow's year of architecture in 1999. It will be seen as the kind of orientation point for people coming to the city, for people in the city, about what's happening. The nice thing about the building is that there will be a mix and range of uses. On the ground floor will obviously be the reception to the Architecture and Design Centre, which might be a shop. But tied into that and surrounding will be Habitat. Habitat gets 800,000 people per year. And so the idea was to merge these two, and that people would then rise up through the building, and the upper levels of the Herald building would become the Lighthouse, the Architecture and Design Centre.
The lighthouse, and well named because it can be a beacon for showing everybody in Scotland, indeed in the UK, and indeed in Europe, indeed in the world, what design and architecture together can do for the environment.
To entice the people into the Gorbals that actually want to live there but don't want to stay in a tenemental area, but are prepared to commit themselves, but they want a house.
Well, houses with that sort of architecture and saying, well, let's modify that and have a few apartments in it. And this architecture and saying, put some houses in this scheme, I'd actually go for this one, because I think the architectural intent is a lot clearer.
By 1999, hopefully not only will this site be complete, but all the way up McNeill Street here to the multi-storey accommodation in the background, we'll have a completely revitalised area with new housing all the way up the street, terminating in a park.
I've been here 6 months, and it's a different environment. I was still in the Gorbals. I stayed in the Gorbals, and the houses are nice, and it's just a different area altogether.
I applied on the last phase, like the one at Johnson just now. It was just a dream come true. I mean, it was just something that's... You never think they're going to get it, and now I'm here. I'm delighted.
The Eldham Cannon Tower building here with the copper roof will be just in front of me here. Running against that pub there, all the way along the street, will be the Page and Park block with a monopitch roof, and over in the far corner where that shed is will be the 4-storey feature designed by Simister Monaghan Architects. This project will be finished well in advance of 1999, and hopefully it sets a benchmark for everybody else to come up to. I'm sure other people might be able to do something better, but they better start working hard very quickly.
Already the title is beginning to deliver. It's delivering in terms of a heightened interest in architectural competitions in schemes around the city. It's delivering in terms of eminent architects coming to the city to carry out their schemes.
Mathematical way of doing it.
There is none.
Everything that we touch, that we look at, that we inhabit, somebody has made a design decision. So for all of us, we're affected by design. And if that's true of a building, it's true of a city.
I think in 1999 we want to prove that design is for everyone. We want to prove that design is accessible and makes economic sense.
The new part in the back of our flat lives quite comfortably with the older part. What we've tried to do is combine the best parts of the old with the best parts of the new, making the old building work together with our lifestyles of today.
This area has a very confident outer skin. This French Renaissance style of architecture looks out across the city. However, behind that facade, there are hundreds of empty muse sites. 1999 could look at the actual infrastructure of the area and how best to use the hundreds of vacant sites within the park area master plan. Most of the buildings here are offices. There's very few residential. We want to get people back into the city centre, back into this area of town. It'll be a livelier, more invigorating place to live.
To build in this area on the scale that we're thinking about would be comparatively cheap, no more expensive than building anywhere else within the city.
We found, working through a large programme of work, almost £100 million worth of work in the last 6 years in Castlemilk, that the tenant groups have become increasingly sophisticated and knowledgeable about what design is and what they want out of it. They've also become more self-confident, which is something, it's a byproduct, but a very important byproduct of the process, in that they now know what they want and what they want to achieve. Balconies have always been a treasured feature in Castlemilk for people living above ground floor level. But there was an acknowledgement this time round that the weather in Castlemilk 9 months out of 12 simply doesn't suit external balconies. So we enclosed them. And yet by enclosing them with glass blocks and glazing, you have an internal-external space. And that is one of the fundamental design features of this project.
Before we stayed up in the top flat, before they took the top story away, and it was murder, it was horrible. We had the gangs of boys hanging about, and the big spare bit of ground we had in the front, they all used to gather there. And I mean, the police were up every second night or whatever, you know. It's a lot better, as you can see, it's a lot better now. I like it fine, because I've got my garden, I'm quite happy.
It's got a great colour, Glasgow. The people are colourful, the atmosphere's... Even though we've got grey skies and rain all the time, I think that's why interiors are, and buildings, exteriors are more important here. I think we don't eat out enough. We don't have coffee on the pavement enough. We are European, but we don't do it enough. I think our weather certainly has a sort of area of putting people off, but I think we should expand on that and we shouldn't be frightened of it.
If you really want to have sustainable and distributable wealth being created, then it comes from good design, both in terms of products, processes, and the environment in which people work. If products are not designed to be attractive, more attractive than your competitors, then people won't buy them.
It might be actually something about the colour that you don't like, or the scale, again, that we talked about, things, too many things at the same scale are actually a bit repetitive, so you don't want to do that. You might want to do that on another occasion, but on this occasion, I think...
A lot of changes have been happening in design education in Scotland over the past 5 years with the advent of the new 5 to 14 curriculum, which has meant that design is now an essential component of education for all kids from age 5 to 14. What's been happening in the west of Scotland and in Glasgow has been a lot of activity aimed at getting artists and designers and architects into schools.
Can somebody say what design is? Can somebody explain design to me? Is it not something that's everywhere around us? It's something that's surrounding us.
How many of you think that you can affect design, that you can change design? Just as ordinary people, that you have any way of changing design? How many of you think you can do that?
Think it was improve. Change it. Change.
We were interested in creating a building which had a whole host of different atmospheres and experiences for people who actually use it. We have tried to take some ideas based on Glasgow architecture from the Victorian age. On the south-facing side of the building, we've got a fairly formal stonework exterior that addresses the Glasgow grid structure and the rest of the face of the city. Another aspect of Glasgow's design development past we've used is the central light well. I think over the last 20 years, Glasgow, in common with many other British cities, has had a general apathy about architecture, particularly modern architecture. It would be my hope that 1999 and the winning of that award would generally raise public awareness in architecture in Glasgow.
We're providing the major first stepping stone to 1999 by putting on the largest ever Charles Rennie Mackintosh show that's ever been held. Mackintosh is Glasgow's greatest architect, one of the great Art Nouveau architects of the world, as great as Gaudi in Barcelona. Almost all Mackintosh's buildings are here in the city. They're being used on a daily basis. We're going to celebrate his work. We're going to invite people to come to the city, and we're sort of saying that Glasgow is not only a great centre for the arts, it's also a great centre where the arts are made. The job really of 1999 is to integrate the arts into the whole community within Glasgow. Mackintosh did that. One of his great achievements was to show that art and visual things can stimulate you in anything. He designed the cutlery, the curtains, the whole building, the clocks. He said everything can be visually stimulating. What I'd like to be left after 1999 is a feeling in Glasgow that people can change their lives, can make them more beautiful, more exciting, their environment more beautiful and exciting, and can really have an impact and see the city growing in a way they want it to grow for the future.
I think the Arts Council and all the judges would be very, very disappointed if Glasgow didn't achieve what it promised to achieve. I'm like everybody in Glasgow to know that I've kept all the documents, all the promises. I know how you won the competition, with promises of towers, refurbished towers, new towers, promises dealing with all the deprived areas around Glasgow. And so if Glasgow doesn't do what it's promised to do, I think there are going to be a lot of very disappointed people.
No one's pretending that this is easy. The city has set for itself a formidable challenge. The challenge to be experimental, the challenge to share what we do with others, the challenge to set an example. But if one city in the UK can rise to this challenge, it has to be the can-do city, the city of Glasgow, the UK City of Architecture and Design, 1999.